This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. You must be 18 or older to listen and or subscribe. Anything we say should not be used to diagnose or treat any medical or psychiatric condition. Do not use anything heard on this podcast as a replacement for professional help or an attempt to diagnose yourself or anyone else. We are not licensed professionals. We are not here to treat you. Any similarities to any persons alive or deceased are purely coincidental. We will not be held responsible for any actions taken as a result of anything heard on this platform.
Drinking from the
You're
bottle.
judging me.
Friday
Nope.
night.
Nope.
Are you judging me? Is that
Nope.
what we're doing?
You will not see my judging face. You want to see me judging face is when I go to a party, a sex party, and somebody closes the door. That's what I hate. You get full judgment with that shit. Why the fuck you coming to a sex party and you closing the door? I just realized that recently. That's my judgment. That's the only time. That's the only time I really judge it. See that face when we go to a sex party. We'll do a vlog,
It's a horrible idea.
not a video vlog, an audio vlog.
Oh my god.
Audio a log,
An A-log?
audio log, video log, audio log. Here we go, everybody. We are back to
There's that
campfires. It's kinky that we all do here. Happy New Year! I realize it's February, but it's New Year for us.
Groundhog's Day.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
it is
today's
Groundhog's
actually
Day.
Groundhog
yeah,
Day.
today's
He
Groundhog's
saw
Day.
his shadow.
He
He
saw a
did.
shadow.
Yep.
Some
6 more
fucking
weeks of winter.
bullshit, but
Yep.
whatever. Let's see here.
Although technically you know that it's not that he looks for his shadow anymore, is that they have scrolls in front of him because I listened to it live.
Oh my god.
Scrolls.
And they wake him up, they knock on, they yell his name
Oh.
and to wake him up.
yeah, they give him like
And
a
then they
little
knock on the
speech.
door to wake him up. And then when
Mhm.
they pull him out, there are scrolls in front of him, and it's which scroll does he pick? And he picked the one where he saw his shadow. There'd be 6 more weeks of winter.
Oh
So it's
my
like picking a
God.
script or something.
Yeah, but
It's
they
a
probably
random-
put food on it. I don't know.
Or I know way too much about this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what we do. We got.
Well,
get
I
to
blame
the
it on
nitty-gritty.
my radio station because they tune in live every year
Yeah.
and make a morning thing of it. So I've been following this for years now.
I can't believe all this time I didn't know he was picking scrolls.
Well, at least he did this year, so I don't know if it's changed or
Where's
not.
that? New York? New York groundhog?
Hold on. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Punxsutawney Phil.
His name is
How many Phils have we gotten so
Punxsutawney
far
Phil.
since?
I don't
Or-
remember.
Punxsutawney.
many
How long?
Phils
How long?
there's been.
How long groundhogs? How long do they live? Anyways, this is the campfire that's kinky. This is our
Why do
new
you
year.
confuse the shit out of people?
This is the campfire that's
Thanks
kinky.
for-
And then we get,
No.
this is
Everybody's
our new year.
tuning into Around the Kinky Campfire.
That one. And this is our new year. This is our first episode. It's been a few months since you heard a live well, it's been a few months since we recorded a live episode. Y'all heard cruise episodes in December, and this last month we were taking a break, and then we had some past
Took something out of the vault.
yes, those were over a year ago. If you guys did not know, campers, so I hope you enjoyed that. And let's get into it. This is Around the Kinky Campfire. I'll say it one time.
Thank you.
Hey, this is New Year, new
Yay.
season. We had a long first
It
season,
only took a
20-something.
year.
Don't
for him to
confuse.
actually
Don't
say it.
confuse listeners.
20-something
man.
episodes, and we're going to be more official this year.
Yeah,
So
thank
new
you.
episodes every second and
Oh,
fourth
I love it.
Thursdays of the month. So for now, that's what we're doing. We might do a little something different. And I got a special something before I introduce everybody. We are officially on social media, campers. We have an Instagram, and
What?
that is on our website now. So go ahead and check that out. The Around the Kinky Campfire Buzzsprout website. You will see it in the description. I'll put it in there if it's not on. I think it's on there. It should be on there, but our Instagram's on there, as well as you can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Mhm.
So we are officially it. It is Campfire Kinksters on IG. Nothing posted on there yet, but we got our website. So come check us out. And without
We
further
have a
ado,
website. We have an Instagram page.
and we have a website too.
We have a website
Through
too.
Buzzsprout.
Buzzsprout
Oh, okay,
website
perfect.
has all the links to all
an
the
email.
things. But I'm just gonna start putting all those direct links to the podcast page.
Absolutely.
Whatever you listen to.
Cool.
Without further ado, to my left I have.
He pointed at you.
Yeah, but he said left.
Who knows what the fuck he means? This is Esme.
They
And
don't
this
know
is
where I'm
Dane.
pointing. And this is the goddess Petho.
I don't know what the fuck that is,
I
but
don't
okay.
Yes.
understand that one.
Yeah, this is the goddess Petho. We
Didn't
gotta do
have
our.
like daddy biscuits at some point or something.
I like a
Yeah,
daddy
yeah.
daddy biscuits now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is our 25th episode, I believe. So there's been 24 other names.
Shoot me.
What I would not be if I did not start our year off, the right way.
Mm-hmm.
The goddess Petho. Yes, that is correct. And for today's episode, we will be talking a not so behind the scenes, in front of us, negotiation of what we are doing and why we are here. We got to go back and been a year since we talked about this, so we're going to come back and talk about it again. Why are we here? So our motto is we are trying to destigmatize BDSM, kink, and non-monogamy for the normal masses. I don't know if anybody else is current on any of the social platforms, but I know big on YouTube and like TikTok, the red pill community and the super judgy people not listening and doing all this stuff, lonely people. It's a big hot thing right now. So for us, where it hits home for us, what we identify with is the non-monogamy and the BDSM especially. So we're trying to make it more mainstream. That's what we are here for. That is the basis of our thing. It's in our description and all that there. Anybody else want to comment on that part of it?
No, that pretty much sums it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just kink. That's more the umbrella. BDSM's part of the kink lifestyle, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
that's why I
not just
said
BDSM, it's
BDSM
kink too.
specifically, because kink is not specific enough for me. So,
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess.
all right.
Go for it.
So
That was beautiful.
I don't
By
know-
The way. Can we do that every time? That was glorious.
I know.
we're trying to
Let's
be
just
more.
write-
We
write-
want sponsors, people, sponsors and partnerships. So we're
Wow.
getting more serious now.
All of a sudden. Okay.
So yeah,
That was
we
bait.
we had over 500 downloads in a year, but you
Woohoo!
need that's pretty good for not being on social media. We kind of need 1,000 every rolling
Yeah,
30
we don't
days.
promote this. What the hell?
Yeah, we will be.
I'm eating,
We
by
are,
the
I
way,
believe.
everybody. And Dame's over there drinking whiskey out of the bottle, which is amazing.
It's
'cause
that kind of day.
That's how we roll
it's that
sometimes.
kind of day.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
we
that
didn't do
kinda
drinks.
day.
We got to do our drinks.
Drinks.
I
You
am
first.
drinking Mike's
Fuzzy bottom.
hard black cherry lemonade seltzer, and Dame is straight from the bottle. And it's
Yep. I am drinking Screwball straight from the bottle, straight from the freezer,
Mhm.
because it's been that kind of day.
I think we have your peanut butter, the jelly thing
Yeah.
in the freezer still.
Drew, I've had a fine day. I'm going to go get seltzer in a little bit, but right now I'm just drinking Waterloo brand.
Okay.
Black
that.
cherry, sparkling water. And I'm eating Atkins pizza rolls because I'm on keto again. So I've lost like 14 pounds, which is amazing.
You want to say what you're eating?
I lost all the weight I gained
I'm
on the
eating
cruise.
full fat chicken parmesan.
Chicken
Looks
parm.
delicious.
Because, I eat my feelings and drink whiskey while I do it.
Yay, dopamine! Gotta get that
That's
dopamine hit.
That's it.
I wonder if I want burgers or soup today. Just on my mind.
I cry
Tell
my
me what I
feelings
have for
out.
dinner.
I literally had like grapefruit for breakfast and a salad for lunch. So
That's
chicken
pretty good.
parm
What
for
the
dinner.
fuck?
Yeah.
That's what I
Alright.
had today, pretty much. Chicken
What did
nuggets
I
and a
have?
salad. This
I
is
don't
not
remember.
this is not a nutrition
No.
podcast. But we're
Not
here
right
just-
now, it isn't.
Mine's
If you'd
okay.
have caught me earlier in the
It's
day, I would have like been right on par with all of it. And
Oh.
then now,
As
here
we
I am.
remember from our behind the scenes or whatever, I do represent the gym community and the health community. I speak for all of this as their speaker and
Me
leader
too.
and all that stuff there.
Same.
Wow,
Did you guys?
I
See, I had to
did
re-listen
keto.
to that
Keto all
episode because
day.
I had
that
to
was obnoxious
edit.
in the other episode, by the way. That was
Still
very
okay.
obnoxious.
Listen, I still speak for all black people. I still speak for all geeks and half the nerds out there. So this is my little bubble, and I'm gonna be in here, and I'm sitting on top of my bubble.
Yeah, I speak for
rolling around
social
there.
science. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna die
So
right on that hill.
as you know, it's is that time, campers,
Mhm.
and everybody's favorite ASMR minutes.
Oh,
I didn't negotiate this.
this is
We're
amazing.
ta-
I'm
I'm just
eating.
saying,
I'm
since we
eating
talked
right
about
up in my-
negotiation-
Pop your thing up there. You gotta.
I did not
I'm
negotiate
eating right up
this.
into my mic. Hold on.
ASMR minutes, and we'll be
Oh,
ready. Somebody's got to open her.
Hold on. Ready?
And minute goes. There we go.
I hope everybody appreciates that this is directly in my ear bone while they do this. There's no escaping it.
That wasn't real. Was that a real burp? Mm-hmm. That was a real burp, but that was amazing.
I hope you all enjoyed this ASMR minute or 30 seconds.
Thanks for tuning in.
And we will continue the podcast.
Next
in
episode.
3, 2, 1. And we're back.
And we're back.
Back from our ASMR minutes with our drinks. Not
eating my
sponsored.
pizza
Mike's
rolls.
and Waterloo and Screwball. Although I have seen Screwball sponsor a podcast. Maybe that'd be our first email we send out.
There you
Because
go.
we all like our peanut butter in our whiskey. Let's see here. We are going to jump back in after our little ASMR minute and doing our drinks and intro. Intro is officially over. And now we're going to back to the negotiations.
We're starting outlines. We have topics.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're
so
becoming
topic tonight.
officials.
Right. Oh, you want to talk about why we're becoming official and like how we got that little
We want the monies.
inspiration of
We want the
what
monies.
did we do last weekend?
Well, we wouldn't.
You want to talk
They're
about
not
it
going
or
to care about that.
Oh, okay.
I feel like we should talk about like
Never mind.
our leather conventions and our BDSM conventions.
Okay,
and
perfect. Yeah, that's a good
yeah,
one.
that's
Okay.
we
We
don't.
did a thing and we decided we needed to step up our game.
Yeah,
So that's all.
we went to a
you all enjoy.
podcasters convention, but you guys don't care about being podcasters. You're just here to learn about,
This
kink
shit.
and non-monogamy. So, negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing this? Besides our motto.
Well,
Does
we're
anybody else?
Hold on.
Anybody
We're
else have a
negotiating
goal?
the podcast is what you said, which is interesting. So we're like renegotiating since it's a new year, making
Yes.
sure we're
On the same
on the
page.
same page. I don't know why. I didn't pick this. I'm calling you out, Fuzzy Britches.
Okay, so the reason why I want to do this is because I believe in any relationship, friendship, familyship, partnership, work partnership, play partners, whatever it is you want to do, you should always have a negotiation. And we haven't officially negotiated since last year, which is uncanny for me because I believe always talking about your wants and needs. And for me, I have wants and needs from the podcast. This is becoming a passion project coming out of a hobby because last year, as y'all heard, it was not super official. We were just kind of winging it and all that kind of thing. So this year,
Dicking around.
around and slapping a helicopter, hitting a helicopter. That's what we were doing,
Flapping
flinging
our
it
elephant
around.
trunk.
which is
Woo.
kind of painful. Just so the women folks out there know, or if you AFAB.
It's funny to watch anyway.
If you've had a penis and you do the helicopter, it does hurt because I did have that question recently in the last few months. Yeah, it does hurt. Just so you know, especially with those of us with sensitive balls. So that's your sex minute there. So for me, I have wants and needs from the podcast. Going into a passion project, wanting to make it more official. So I want to bring our campy kinksters, the
Kinky campers.
campy kinksters, all that stuff. So my goal is to bring my experience to the table. If you guys have questions, feel free to hit us up on Instagram, direct message us. You'll get me most of the time, but the other two will be on there as well. And then we're going to put articles and stuff that catch our eye. But I feel that we have the combined experience that you don't normally see out there in the podcast world or in any world, really, because I watch a lot of YouTube, and those people just don't know. So there's a lot of sex education people that are out there, and they have the intellectual knowledge, which I feel like we have some intellectual knowledge, not officially, but just from learning and teaching
I
and
would
stuff.
disagree. I have plenty of intellectual knowledge.
You can disagree all you want. That's what we're here
My
for.
negotiation, damn it.
We are all here for our opinions, so I'm just going to keep talking until I trigger one of y'all, and then you start talking yourselves. But I'm planning on getting a certification to be more intellectual, but I will continue my experience over 10 years of being in the kink community and being poly for like 4 or 5 years now. So I have the experience to be out there and talk about this stuff, and I feel like the BDSM education is kind of lacking out there, especially coming from
Ooh, that's touchy.
Okay,
I
podcast.
disagree.
I am
Okay,
talking
let's
about
clarify that.
podcast. Okay. Okay. See,
Did I mention I was drinking straight from the bottle tonight? I think
see how
I
trigger
prepped-
it is.
I think I
So-
prepped
I'm building
well.
you up.
I'm
building
so
you
happy
up.
you're here.
I'm
I
ready
think
for
I
the.
prepped
Because
well.
I'm like, I
I'm
don't
ready-
care.
I'm ready-
I don't care.
I'm
And
ready.
you're like, damn. I'm like, yes, thank you. Oh,
Yeah, I'm waiting for the bucket to overflow.
I'm checked out.
So
Yeah.
whoever wants to go next after me can go
Dame's-
up next.
Dame's overflowing.
Yeah,
here. I like
overflowing
it. You
over
feeling
there.
Like, you feeling like letting loose?
No,
So-
no, I'm just going to let him keep digging.
Girl, I
In the
hope so.
podcast world,
Oh,
I would just
thank
say
you.
for myself a little side note there, campers. As far as like ingesting media, I feel like out of the three of us, I'm the one that's got my boots on the ground and listening to all the different things. So, just from my observation, the intellectual actual education side is very lacking, especially on
Then
the mainstream.
I would say that your view is skewed because you're going to the vanilla platforms
Yes.
looking for kink education and
No.
then No, but that's fair.
Looking
because
to see what's out there in
Yeah.
the vanilla
you're
world.
putting
for
yourself in
people.
the vanilla environments and then criticizing the kink education that's in the vanilla environments instead of seeking out right now the kink environment and seeing the education that is brought to the table from the kink environment, which is distinctly different. So
And
I
here's the-
believe your opinion on kink education is going to be skewed based on where you're looking.
Okay, there's another thing is I know where the kink education is, but the problem is the people that are on the vanilla stuff are representing the kink and non-monogamy community.
I'm not saying that that's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's not an accurate summation of the kink education that is available to people.
It's not the right sample, like population.
I
that we're
think your
looking for.
That's what I'm
population is
saying.
skewed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying as far as that's concerned. But the more popular stuff out
That's
there,
like going to a kink convention and saying, yeah, but like 95% of the people that I've encountered are kinky. Well, no shit. You're at a kink convention. But if you went to a comic convention, it might go
They're
to
like,
50%.
I've read
kinky.
50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
I'm educated, and you're like,
That's the misnomer with statistics. You give me a
Yes.
statistic, and I can give you 5 different ways to look at that statistic.
so my point in saying that is, yes, that is correct. So
mine is too.
okay.
I can turn it up, but yeah,
you
he's
can
getting
in a
closer.
minute when you're done.
So
Mics are low,
my
sorry.
my point in saying that is,
Don't
no,
have to
I'm
yell.
not going to the public spaces to find kink information. My point is when I go there for like comedy per se, because that's a big thing in podcasts, I'm running into people that are on these vanilla podcasts and they're
Platforms.
talking and representing the kink and polyamory
So
community.
that is very distinctly different than how we started this conversation.
Okay, so my
Correct.
point in saying is that's what I'm doing.
Clarify when he's done. Then I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
that's
a way
what
to
you're
put
here
it.
for. I'm here for the flamboyant point. Okay, I'm the devil's advocate of this trio. So that is my issue because a lot of the people that are out there, they're making rash generalizations, but they don't have the experience to back it up. So that's my biggest issue. So I think the kink and the non-monogamy space should be better represented in the actual world because the people that are speaking are very popular and known and famous or whatever thing you want to do. The top people in the social media space. I'm focusing more on like podcasting and YouTube because a lot of people
Platforms,
people take their podcasts and they put them on YouTube, but they are talking to people like they'll talk to like an OnlyFans person and then they'll say the person will be like, oh, I practice BDSM and I'm non-monogamous, and it's like, okay, well tell me what BDSM is, and then they're like bondage,
They don't know the acronym.
the doggy style. It's like, but then you're representing for the community that you say you identify with, but it's like super incorrect.
I mean,
Or you'll have a sex coach that they'll have on there, and they'll be all, oh, you got a sex coach on the thing. It's like, oh, please tell us about your sex coach. What's the wildest thing you've ever heard? And then they'll be like, hey, we got BDSM education, and then they'll try to talk about it, but I don't have any experience with it. I just know people that are into BDSM. So this is on the popular quote unquote platforms that I'm on. So I would like to go out there and educate these people. I don't want to say better representation, but it's just like a different perspective, and it's like especially with the non-monogamy stuff, it's like
I think
sex
you're
based.
looking for a more realistic, a more realistic and like a more accurate depiction of exactly what to be in this lifestyle looks like and the experiences behind
and
it
also
and
a different
why
view.
people do what they do
Yeah.
and not just using it as a buzzword or the
Exactly.
sensationalism of being able to say, oh, I'm kinky. Which there's nothing wrong with that. Every degree of kinky, every degree of the spectrum of kinky is valid to the people that are doing it.
Everybody has their own definition.
Everybody has their own definition, and it is real to them. And we're not here to say that that is wrong or inaccurate. What we're just trying to say is
Don't
it's
tout
real
yourself-
for you.
Don't
it
tout
doesn't
yourself as an educator unless you're actually like identifying as an educator.
right.
And then
Don't call it a
they're quote unquote educating the vanilla people, and then also
Hold
with the
on, I have a big beef with that.
okay.
Are they educating? Did they come out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a BDSM expert," and then they don't know what it stands for, or did they just say, "Oh, I'm into BDSM"? Like, you might think that they think that they're representing it, and the audience might think that that person's representing it.
But if they're
But
not
it doesn't
really
mean-
representing education, are
It
you just
doesn't
putting that on them because they happen to be on their podcast talking about it?
Yeah, that's not necessarily how the entire audience might see it, unless you've got a stupid audience. So, like, the audience shouldn't be
Or
so
an audience that doesn't know anything about the BDSM, and this is their only way
Well,
to
for
learn.
the love of God, I really hope they go out and do some more research and look up some more freaking podcasts. So that's
No.
what we'll be here for. Then.
I can't control the people.
You
but
can't
that's
control
what we're
the
here
audience. If they want to be idiots, then they will be.
And then
that's
onto your
fine.
second point, as far as a hub of where people go to look for information and they actually want to be educated. Hopefully, we stand out, and I know for me, I would like to bridge the gap between the two because I'm in both worlds. So hopefully, my goal personally is to be a guest on a lot of different shows. I would like to just guest on a bunch of different podcasts, and then everybody can get my view. Because as far as I know, and listening to a lot of the sex educators and looking at all the demographics, there aren't a lot of black men that are in sex education.
You don't
and
really identify as black, though.
Yeah.
Let's call it person of color.
Yeah. Either way, that type of thing. People are gonna judge however they want to judge. But and then a lot of the people, the black people in the thing are like super religious in their sex education. So it's like people need a different view.
Like on the cruise.
It's like,
Holy shit. Okay, I have another big beef with what you just said. It is a very... Are you ready? Can I talk? You good? Okay.
I guess I'm done. Yeah.
All right. It is a very big ask to call out the lifestyle, BDSM, whatever, the community, people in the lifestyle, to be more prevalent, to make their voices known, to get more involved and have more education, because a lot of us have to stay closeted.
You can still be closeted and still be educated.
No, go out and be an educator or be on other people's podcasts. The risk of being known and being kind of found out is actually higher. I mean, it's higher. The more communications channels you have, the more risky it is, and the harder it is to control the communication.
You talking about for yourself or people in general?
People in general. Okay. Social sciences degrees.
Not everybody's going to be educating, though.
No, just being on podcasts, putting yourself out there. Forget even the education. If you want more representation out in the vanilla community from people in BDSM, that's a big ask because a lot of us have to stay private.
No, I'm talking about the ones that are not everybody's going to be on a podcast. So I don't know what you're talking about by everybody. I'm talking about the people that
Do you understand what
identify.
I mean? Can you explain it a different way?
No, I get what you're saying. You're assuming that everybody we're talking to wants to be on a podcast.
No, that's not what she's saying.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
So what are you talking about? Why does the podcast have to do with what you're saying?
It doesn't.
That's what you said.
No, it doesn't.
Say what you said again.
So what she's saying is you are sharing that there's not a lot of what you would consider kink education, valid kink education in the vanilla settings of
different
the podcast
platforms.
world,
YouTube,
the YouTube, things of that nature.
Yeah.
And what
Esme.
is saying is that one of the reasons that is, and it's going to be innately difficult for that to happen
To
because
change,
the vast majority of the people that are qualified to talk about it are not capable of being public about it.
Well, that point I get. My point is there are plenty of people that are educated in the kink stuff that are out there. They're just not on these podcasts.
But they're
But no, they have
but if you think
YouTube
about it,
pages and they have podcasts.
So you
they're
want the
out
vanilla community to interview more of the BDSM community.
there. No, they don't have to. My point is I would like to be out there to
be interviewed?
be interviewed for that
Oh,
stuff.
okay, now I
And
get
then
it.
if those people,
This is an ulterior motive.
that's what I just said.
I'm going to go get another drink.
So,
Now it's time for me to go get my drink.
and
I love you.
so you can go ahead and after
there's
this,
cookie dough whiskey behind
He's
you.
okay,
Yeah.
too. No, I'm on keto. I can't.
No, you're keto.
Yeah. I've
you
been
guys
a
can
girl.
talk about what you want for this. My point is, without being dissected, is that there
Sure.
are podcasts out there and there are YouTube people that are in the kink space,
Mhm.
but they're not out there on the big mainstream, quote unquote, popular places.
So one, we're not dissecting you. You are the one that wanted to negotiate the value and the drive of this podcast on air. So this is what you get when you want to do that. And two, you are right. There are valid kinky educators that are on the platforms and
Yeah.
that are doing the thing. And I would agree with you that there should be more. We hope to be more, and we hope to add to the more. And if that means that we do it with the people that already exist alongside of them and work with them, and which gets us to the point to where we can work with platforms that are kink friendly but not necessarily kink educated, then bonus, that's something that we are agreeing that we're working towards.
Ding ding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's why we're here. I mean,
Yeah.
we're putting ourselves out there for that specific
Now,
purpose.
as far as negotiation
So.
goes for the podcast, one of the things I will not do, one of my absolute nots, is I will not shame a kink on this podcast. I might not agree with all the kinks that are out. I will not agree with all the kinks that are out there. I do not agree with all the lifestyle choices that are out there. I also don't have to do them, and I don't have to live them. But if I can give insight, or I can give an a different way of looking at it, then I have no problem doing that. But I cannot be on a podcast that always ends a kink or an aspect of kink on a negative note.
Yes, we don't
So
want to
even
yuck
if I
anybody's
don't,
yum.
even if I don't agree with it, or if I don't
Say that-
subscribe to
Say
it,
that again.
We don't want to yuck anybody's yum.
That's a phrase that the listeners might not know. It's a very common phrase in our lifestyle. Don't
Yeah.
yuck someone else's yum.
Yeah.
Very funny. Okay, sorry.
God, if we ever sound
It's cute.
judgy, we're not
And
doing that.
Right. So
I'm sure we
while I
have. We've talked
probably
about
will
that
disagree
fucking
about
stuff.
some of the kinks that we bring up and some of the aspects of the lifestyle that we bring up, I personally will not allow the podcast to end on a negative note. We will always find something positive or something useful or a resource people can use to go find out more information on their own.
Yeah. And now we're going to talk about diapers. And adult
I will
biz.
provide you information to go find out on your own.
All by your damn self.
And for those of you that don't know him, he's poking bears right now.
Poking the bear.
So,
Oh, God.
yeah.
Yeah, no
yeah,
kink
there's
shaming.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's a non-negotiable for me. If we're
Lifestyle shaming.
if we're negotiating the podcast, that's a non-negotiable for me. Is I can't consciously leave any form of education that I do on a negative note, because it has to be inclusive for the people that need it.
Do you want to talk about your goal for the podcast?
My goal for the podcast, okay, so I am in the education world in many aspects, to include kink and lifestyle. And my goal is to be able to broaden how I share that education, one, and to be able to give a more unfiltered view of the kink world and the education that goes behind it, because I feel that when I present formally for a place, like if I'm invited to present at a place or by a group of people, that I have to be very conscientious about what I say, because people will automatically associate me with that group or associate what I say with that group. They don't know how to differentiate a personal opinion from, oh, well, you know, the club that brought this person in, they must believe everything that she says because they invited her to teach here. So they must back everything she says. So if I say something that might not be popular, I could be causing harm to the people. Not that it's wrong, but I could just be causing harm. Where in this platform, I feel like I am just me, and I have this gives me a better opportunity to actually have a personal opinion about things and be able to explore my personal opinions through education on a platform where I'm not representing somebody else.
What do you feel about the use of our pseudonyms and like the people that are like, oh, you're just hiding behind the name?
I have the right to my privacy, period.
I don't want this to ever be detrimental to the work that I do. I don't feel that it would be, but I would hate for somebody to hear a podcast in a car going down the road and have opinions and not be able to work through them with me, where at least in my education aspect, where I'm one-on-one or in front of a group of people, I have the chance to work through disagreements with people. I can talk with them afterward, which people will come up and say, hey, this thing that you said. And we can work through something in person where if they're just listening to my opinion and they're not maybe getting the context of it, or they're not understanding the connotation of it, or even just the tone of my voice, and it's being misrepresented somehow or interpreted somehow, I feel like there's no way for me to help fix that, or there's no way for me to navigate through that, because they can just turn the podcast off, and then whatever they believe they heard me say is, or how they felt when they heard me say it, is now their truth. And there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. Separation of church and state.
And so that's why I keep Dame, because I don't want there to be an accident like that where it could hurt the education that I do in person.
Yes. And also people have trouble separating the thing and don't realize that people can have multiple opinions without them being subjected to another association with something.
Yeah, we can hold two opposing thoughts in our minds at the same time.
Good Lord.
With no problem.
I would just, if we ever got that out into mainstream society, it's not black and white, people. There's a gray area. You can both hate people and like something about them.
Yes, and
Andrew Tate is a horrible person, but some things, few things
and
I do
he's
agree.
not wrong about everything.
He's, there's a few things I agree with, but overall, I don't like the motherfucker. So let's just say that. And all these other people that agree with the red pill community, there's stuff there's stuff I do agree with. You should wash your ass, wear some nice clothes, but overall, I don't,
wash your ass.
This is just, there's, you can have opposing opinions, people.
So yeah,
Next.
so that's my non-negotiables, and that's what I hope to bring to the table with the podcast is all of that aspect.
Do you have like an end goal that you want?
An end goal to make it out.
Like, is the podcast your end? That's all you want to do is like?
Well, no, I want to continue to teach in person.
That's your main goal.
My main drive is education.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that this becomes another aspect of that main drive. To me, education is multifaceted. You can be an educator in person. You can teach classes. You can be an educator by volunteering because you're putting yourself in front of people to help them along their way. And education could be through a podcast where people are listening to you because they choose to. Education can be a lot of things. Like I educate at colleges. My education is multifaceted. I actually go in front of graduate students at a college that are learning to be licensed therapists and talk about BDSM and kink and psychology, and give them a real life person to work scenarios through and bounce information off of, and give them terminology and tell them, you probably, odds are, you're going to run across a patient that is involved in this lifestyle. And so our goal is to, right now, this be the first time that you're introduced to it, not in front of your patient, so that you at least have some reference when you have patients that bring it up. It's not the first time you've heard it. So my education is multifaceted in kink, and in the kink environment and in the non-kink environment. So I just hope that this helps broaden that.
I think I came up with a new motto for us. It should be where the knowledge and experience come together.
Converge. The word is converge.
Yeah, that one too.
There's another good confluence. The confluence.
Mm-hmm.
Two rivers running together. It's kind of nice. Around the kinky campfire. The confluence of experience and knowledge.
Well, and sometimes it's also just fun
like
to be able to talk about kink, and it doesn't have to be serious.
That too, yes.
That
I know
that
nothing
there's
about
real
jokes.
human people behind everything that's being done, and to show a more humanistic side instead of just the fantasy side of kink.
Correct.
And how it can be a part of somebody's daily life. It can be a part of the moral fiber of their makeup.
Hey,
all
Dame.
of that.
Hey, Dame. Do you think trees poop?
And his silence hushes the podcast.
Of course
Yeah.
they do. How do we get number 2 pencils?
Okay. Are we still negotiating?
Yeah, it's been that kind of fucking day. Go for it.
Yeah.
Hit 'em.
humor
Hit
is
'em.
non-negotiable.
Are we still negotiating?
Pun humor is non-negotiable. Wordplay.
I feel like we need to still negotiate.
When the whiskey bottle comes out, we do not do those kinds of things, fuzzy britches.
Screwball. What?
I don't know what the fuck your name was.
Goddess Petho.
Why is it goddess? And what's a patho? I know what pathos is.
Petho.
Logos, pathos, and
Goddess
ethos.
Petho.
Petho?
Screwball whiskey,
Can
not a
you, like,
sponsor.
Can you look that up? Is that on Wikipedia?
Would you like
and why
a
are you
smooth-
goddess? Do you want to talk about your change in your status?
I can. I'll throw it in there.
Okay.
It's your turn now. What would you like to negotiate with us here?
You asked Dame a bunch of questions that were very
What?
specific.
Which ones?
And now you're not going to ask me. You're just going to let me freeform.
I let her freeform at the beginning. Yes.
Kind
That's
of
valid. He did.
with the negotiating part.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of preemptively put out there what one of my non-negotiable was, and that spawned the rest of it.
Mm. Well, it's a good thing I wrote down all the questions that you asked, and already wrote all of my answers while you were.
Oh, we're learning. We're doing official now. Show notes, people. They're coming. Transcripts. Official
So,
stuff.
What it sounded like was like, what are we not going to do? What are the non-negotiables? So I would call those boundaries. What are my bounds of the discussions here, the topics? So my no's are kink shaming. I liked that, so I put that in there. Yeah, no kink shaming. Non-consensual voyeurism. This is a big one for me. I will not talk about whatever I don't want to talk about, and if I have a boundary around some things. So if we're doing topics and we're actually going to write down what we're going to talk about in the next podcast and I don't want to be a part of it, I'm not going to be a part of it. So you guys might get just the two of you. And the listeners might just have to get used to that. So,
That's valid.
yeah, and I'll just tell you guys. And, if I'm not here, you don't know if I'm sick or you don't know if I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to hear about that shit. And I don't know if I coined the term. I had never heard it before, but non-consensual voyeurism. It's like I shouldn't need to see or hear anything that I prefer to protect myself from. It's why I can block people on websites. I don't need to see their shit. I shouldn't need to walk up and see somebody flash their dick at me. It's like a flasher. So
Or
there's
being walked on the leash.
Yeah, it's in the vanilla community. That's you know what? There's another boundary. I will not shame vanillas. Absolutely fucking not. There is more shaming of vanillas. I have a partner who's vanilla. I will absolutely slaughter anyone who shames the vanilla community and any lack of education that they've got. It's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair. They didn't grow up with this. They don't understand. They don't know, and they might not want to seek it out. We don't have to force this upon them, and they don't need to know. As long as they aren't making assumptions, and as long as if they do want to know, they're asking questions, and they come at us from a place of non-judgment, fine. I will not force any of this upon anyone. I'm going to put that on there.
Yes,
I have
we
to write
do
this
this
down.
all consensually to make sure that everybody that wants to do it is wanting to do it, and we're not going to shame them either way, whether you don't want to or you want to go to church or the local dungeon.
Yeah, but don't
Nobody's
be
being
judgmental.
judged.
Nobody else is allowed to judge us about this, and so we will not judge them. Yeah, vanilla shaming. What was the other one we were just saying? That was great. Vanilla shaming and like forced voyeurism. Oh, what you were saying about the leashes.
There's like
walking-
a crusade joke in there somewhere.
I just triggered a memory. Sorry. Hold on. You got me right in my neurodivergence on that one. I've gone into a deep dive.
Crusades.
Oh,
Where Christians
stop,
went
stop,
in there and
stop.
forced all their
No, I know what the
religion?
Crusades
stop.
were. Oh.
I'm losing my train of thought. The leash, walking somebody on a leash in a vanilla environment to me is
like a public park.
a public park. Yeah, to me is kind of forcing a vanilla person. It could be children, anybody can see it, and maybe parents aren't ready to have that discussion, or vanilla people might just not want to be part of what's your dynamic. You can be more discreet.
Or they don't know how to explain it.
They don't know how to explain it. Maybe that's okay. They'll probably do their best, but I would consider that non-consensual voyeurism because we know what a private, intimate thing dynamic can be, and it's nice you want to show it off, but be respectful of other people and their want to either see that or not. We don't have to hide ourselves, but we also don't have to be flashy about it either. Just because we can wear pasties walking down the street and that's technically covering your nipples, doesn't really mean you always should. Now, you go to the Cupid Undie run or something, 100%. If people don't realize, or it's a pride parade, duh, of course you're going to be out there. And if somebody walks by and goes, oh shit, there's a pride parade, and they're like, I don't like seeing this. Well, you came to the pride parade, you idiot. You should probably step off. Like, this is what we're going to do. And if you didn't know, well, you didn't do your research. But if you're just like chilling at a farmer's market and somebody's, got their dog mask on and their leather harnesses and assless chaps and a thong, like, it's street legal,
You mean
but
chaps.
sure. It's street legal,
Chaps
but
are already
All
assless.
right, my next one. Kink shaming, no outing anyone. I will not be outed. None of you will be outed. My friends will not be outed. Nobody in the community. I'm not outing anyone. That's just a rule.
That's a given.
Yeah. What happens in this lifestyle stays in this lifestyle, period, unless someone chooses to be public. And I will lose my freaking mind if anybody does the griefer thing and starts to like come at us and try to dig through who anybody is. That just drives me wild. So that's actually why I stay private also, because I have other I don't know, other public spaces that I'm involved in multiple ways, and I don't deal with griefers. One of my other hard boundaries is I will not, probably not, I can talk about it, cucking, cuckolding, any of that. That's a no-no topic for me. So if I get anything,
You talking about it?
yeah, I'm gonna have some like fuzzy boundaries around it. That'll probably work out with you guys. I'm not quite sure what they are, but there are certain
You're talking about
things
talking about it. We're not talking about stuff we're doing in private.
I am talking about it. I mean, talking about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then listeners, like there's some. Yeah,
Oh,
I might
getting
just have
requests
my own
and stuff.
requests.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I might have my own boundaries around it. Probably not going to be answering questions about any of that. Certainly won't out myself. I'll always use a pseudonym. And the goals, we were talking about goals after that. So those are my boundaries, the ones that I've got for now.
Yeah, don't give us any personal requests on Instagram. You're gonna be blocked already. So just don't.
Yeah, that's boundaries for you guys.
not
Sorry to be
doing
kind of an
personal
asshole,
stuff.
but like, come on, you know. And actually, a lot of people, if they're new, now that I think about it, they might not know that. So I don't have to assume that they're being jerks about it, but it's really just like, hey, this is a boundary. So now you guys know.
People on like Twitch and stuff know that
They might
women
not.
get requested to be.
They might not know.
Let me
Yeah,
see your feet.
I'm
No,
a girl.
no, we're not doing that.
No.
If you want education, then come hit us up on there. If you have questions, we're not doing any personal requests, okay? None of that stuff. You keep that on OnlyFans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to ask somebody.
All right,
something,
well, if
someone.
somebody wants to do it in their private, they can do that.
Right.
But
If one of us is like,
Campfire
no, shame.
Kickster's IG is for education purposes.
Yeah.
If you-
So you guys can't see me, but I'm over here going, I mean, I do pro sessions, so.
Listen, yeah.
If you choose to
if you
answer,
wanna
I
do
will
that-
not, probably.
Yeah.
Like, I will not. But yeah, if one
That's
of us
why they're
chooses
laughing,
to
because I'm over
answer-
here like,
Yeah. Well, if you can figure out Dame's pro social stuff, then good luck on you.
You know what? You can always email us, and if
That's not
Dame
for
decides
that's
to
not,
respond,
Yeah, it's not
or-
for
no,
campfire.
this is not a
no,
public
this
session.
isn't the place to solicit. Please do not solicit us.
Feel free to talk about it though. We
Yeah,
want to hear about your
yeah.
wanna hear
experiences.
about my
You just can't contact her through Campfire Kinkster's IG.
How do we feel about talking about drug use on this podcast?
Talking about
What
your
about
butthole?
it?
Why do I
Like
smell
a-
pot?
I don't.
Uh-uh.
Don't look at me. I've
Something.
never done it.
I
I don't
is
smell
it
it.
my armpits? I don't know. I have
You
new
know the
deodorant on.
neighborhood we're in. You've seen the cloud that
It's
you
like in here.
drive through.
So
yes.
weird. It smells like
Mm.
pot, and I don't
This-
know why. Maybe it's my nose ring.
Anyways, probably is.
Yeah.
All right. So your
Actually,
goal?
I think it is. Yeah. Goals to
would you like?
improve my assumptions that I make about other people, about other people's kinks, about the community, and I actually I get really triggered by stuff. So I almost enjoy the triggering, because then it's really like, wow, Esme, why can you not handle listening to that? Like, what is it about that really gets you? So the cuck thing, that's more about my partners. Usually I get a lot of, it's almost a lot. A lot of men really enjoy cuck shaming my partners to me. And that is like, whoop, instant block. Instant block.
I don't think I would.
So I get so triggered that I like don't even have to talk about it. You're just gone. Whoop, you're now a non-entity. Other goal, I like to hear new points of view. So I'm here to learn also. And I like to learn from you guys, because you've got very different experiences a lot of the time, and certainly different opinions, different lives, just like any human would. And I think that's cool, and it's interesting that we're so close socially. We're in the same circles in so many places, yet we're so different. And I think that's really cool. So I like learning. So I like the hearing new points of
it's
view part.
Breaking the bubbles is one term. Being in different social circles, trying not to make generalizations. So I too would like to have my brain broken and realize that people do stuff like do BDSM non-sexually, but they
BDSM.
still have sex without the beat. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I
breaks my
actually
mind.
do. Yeah, I can.
That's
I
a
do.
whole other episode.
Yeah, I do non-sexual BDSM.
I'm just saying it as an example. We can
Yeah.
talk about it later,
Yeah.
but yeah, stuff
You
like
do
that,
too, right?
brain
Yeah,
breaking
I do
stuff.
Too. I don't
But
need
yeah,
to be sexually
so
attracted
we're
to somebody,
trying
and I'll do
to
all kinds of stuff.
hopefully not make. We're gonna try not to make generalizations.
All right, so I think we've
Hold on, I wasn't done.
Yes.
I forgot. I was gonna talk about something more.
Your
that
goals
you just
for the
no,
podcast.
No, not. I wrote it down. I know my own goals. It was.
Right.
It was on something that you were just bringing up
Bubbles.
about how having your brain broken.
Yes.
It was about that. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm going to do my best to make myself available. And I hate this word, but as a safe space, a safe human for listeners, for friends, for other educators, for... What the hell did I write? Those... Wow, I can't read my own handwriting. Other educators.
For people.
And those who need an open and supportive ear. That's it. I want to make myself open. And I pride myself on that as a person, that I attempt very hard to be vulnerable with people and show them that it's okay that they can be vulnerable with me. You lead by example. So we're pretty vulnerable in this podcast. And that's very important to me that we do that we're so open to other people, that we're non-judgmental. So we come at all this from a place of non-judgment. And I think that show of vulnerability and openness is how we prove our level of acceptance to others. And that's extremely important to me.
So, yes, some combination of doing a live chat or doing calls or something we could do with people. When we'll figure out that if we ever do like tiers or something like that. So you guys can talk to us directly. We can hear what you're saying, because we are trying not to judge. We not perfect people, but judging is not our thing. So if you want to talk about your different stuff that you got going on, kinks or BDSM, you have questions and all that stuff, let us know, and we're not going to judge you about it.
I like what Dame just wrote. Can you write that? That was beautiful.
Say
exactly. And that's why I thought anybody should be able to talk about it. I have the right to remove myself from some things.
Yeah, I have like this little notepad.
It's
that
a beautiful.
I scribble on.
I just looked. I was like, what did she write? Because it was as I was talking, I was like, what is she doing? I love that. 100%.
I just put, just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean that it doesn't have educational value.
Yeah, and things like cuckolding. Just because it's uncomfortable to me, you all should be able to talk about that. I have the right to remove myself. I don't need to be here for it. You guys should have the freedom to do whatever you want. I just don't need to be there. And same thing with the listeners. So none of that comes with judgment.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is we'll never bait and switch you. We're never going to put out a topic and then not talk about that topic. So if there is something that you're already uncomfortable hearing information about, then just don't listen to those episodes, because we're going to be very upfront about what the episode's going to entail.
Yeah.
And so you don't ever have to worry about, we're going to talk about bondage, and the next thing you know, we're talking about fisting, and that's not something you wanted to hear about.
Speaking of show notes and transcripts,
I actually think we've done that though, so we need to then write those bounds.
Well, we got to put the transcripts and stuff in there so people can read about it before they start listening.
I'm not saying we're not going to squirrel, and I'm not saying comments won't come up, but the
Right.
gist of that podcast,
Let's keep it on
we'll
topic
keep
for
it
the
on
safety and
topic.
security of other people's minds, because safe, sane,
I
and
don't like that
consensual
acronym.
and consensual. I don't care.
I don't like
It's
that
good
acronym.
for this purpose. Consensual, it's a consensual, non-voyeuristic listener and producer relationship. And sanity, like you being exposed to things that you didn't choose to be exposed to, can really fuck with you sometimes.
So that is our negotiation with you, listeners.
Tell me in a
if
minute
you
why
have,
you don't like the acronym.
If you see the show notes and
really
the transcripts in the description, we will be talking about those things. We're not going to be talking about something completely different than what
Yeah.
you see there. So
We're making a contract.
spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. You got your spoiler warning.
We're making a contract with you guys just as much as we are with each other and with the community. So it's our responsibility to maintain these contracts, these social contracts we're making with you guys.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say this for myself, too. I'm not going to do anything half-assed, so if you catch me slipping, we're not here for flagrancy. We're not here for clickable stuff. We're here because we have experience and intellectual background for it, and that's what we're here for. So if you think we're just saying stuff to be saying stuff, then you ain't been paying attention.
I have a little bit of an actual educational background in it because of my bachelor's degree. We actually had courses on alternative sexuality, let's say, in some of my psychology courses.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of an education. You might have too.
I have.
Yeah. And what about you?
I've
Did you
Anybody
take
else?
courses like that?
I've taken psychology of sex, 2 of them.
Exactly.
Actually, 2 psychology of sex courses at the collegiate level.
Yeah. Same. There you
We're
go.
going to talk about that eventually because, there's some stuff in the sex education. It's like, what the fuck?
Some of the just anthropological classes that I took go into tribal sexuality, and I always thought that was just amazing. Oh God. Anyway, it was very good.
That's
So-
another
so we
episode
both
too. We
do.
can talk about
Awesome.
education and the stuff.
Yeah.
And what we're doing with that. Anybody else got anything for negotiations, goals for the podcast?
I like prick.
You kind of said your goal.
Prick is my favorite. That one's the one that I really glom onto.
you kind of gave your goals for the thing. So you just want to
Yeah.
hear people what they're saying. That's it.
What?
Your goal for the podcast.
Oh, my goal for the podcast.
Yeah. I want to guest talk about this stuff. Education, getting it out there.
Oh, education, getting it out there. I think mine is, I think mine's the vulnerability and the safe space and the.
You just want people to come to you to be able to talk about the stuff.
I want to. Mine's more about the destigmatization part. Like that's my goal.
On an individual basis?
On an individual basis, I want people to feel like they know places now and they know there are other people out there who they can open up to. If they want to tell their personal stories, I'll maintain their privacy. They can send us emails.
A phone call.
And I certainly don't mind reading that and responding.
So Campfire Kinksters, there you go. If you want to get on tier 3
Mine's
subscription,
about the shame part of
you
it.
can get on a private
Nobody
call with Esme, and she will.
That is not true.
She will talk to you
I do
about
not
all the
consent to
different.
Yeah, look at my eyes are tearing. The kink shaming aspect. I think I'm here to deconstruct shaming people for having alternative sexual desires and wanting those alternative sexual experiences.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be our first thing.
That is literally like just like made my heart like I just felt a pang. That's the one.
Yeah, that's our number one thing. So you come on to Instagram, make sure you give us questions and just give us comments definitely about the shaming part of it. So because we're here to destigmatize. That's what we're here for.
For you. I'm there to destigmatize for the individual listening. Like for you as a listener. So I get for the whole community, and that's how it starts. I mean, that's how people can be more comfortable, but the way that you can start to be more yourself and kind of come out of your own closet as an individual, you might not have supportive family and friends. This social tidal wave we're trying to create of making this an easier topic for the vanilla world to digest is probably 10 or 20 years out or more or whatever. We might not reach rural communities, and other kink groups might not reach rural communities well enough for you to feel comfortable. But if you find us, now you know we exist, and I think that's really important.
Oh, who was that guy that had the on the newspaper? He would come in and he would you could write to him. Was it Dan? David?
Oh, Dan Savage.
Dan Savage.
Love.
That's what it is.
I'm your Savage Love, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Dan Savage.
Just
One of
right,
Dan
please.
Savages.
What?
Nothing. I'm trying to figure out which one of those I can cut the top of and see what's in
Oh,
their
thank
head.
God.
Oh God!
She's-
Now we're
she's-
squirreling.
yeah,
we're
thank
not
you.
even going to
Oh,
get
I
there.
love
That's
you
a
so much.
non-starter
I love
right
you
there.
so much.
No, get out of here. Okay, so
God. Okay.
that's it.
Uh,
Campy Kinksters.
Do you want to call this one of the episodes and then cut it? That'd be kind of cool because we can talk about the stuff you just wanted to talk about. Unless
Yeah, that's.
I
the
actually think
next
that's a
part.
good idea.
So
We can roll right into what we
we
were
are going to talk about next negotiations and how to have them because we had one ourselves. That's an example. So we're going to break down the basics of it in the next episode.
This is a good editing point. If we
So-
feel like it, we're going to cut it, and we'll see you in the next episode. If not, this
No,
will-
they're actually cutting.
Oh, we're doing
This
it?
is
Okay, we're
this is
cutting
another
it.
Episode.
then we will
So
see you in the
this
next episode.
is another episode. I believe it's like 25 or something.
Yeah.
You need to start paying attention to
Oh.
that too. But to my right, I have.
Dame.
To my left, I have.
This is Esme.
And this is the goddess Petho. Catch us next time for negotiations part 2 kind of service.
Around the Kinky Campfire, and follow us on our new Instagram.
It's
and,
around Campfire Kinksters, and we have new episodes every second
Welcome
and
back.
fourth
this is the end of
Thursdays.
this
Yeah,
next
welcome. Happy New Year.
one. Oh, are we back now? Okay.
Yeah, welcome back.
Happy New Year.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Goodbye.